Labour leadership hopeful Andy Burnham has said calls from rival Yvette Cooper for him to quit the contest are disappointing and quite strange. A spokesman for Ms. Cooper said he should step aside if he isn't prepared to offer an alternative to left-wing frontrunner Jeremy Corbyn. Mr. Burnham has praised Mr. Corbyn's energy but said he had criticised his economic policies. Both he and Ms. Cooper insist they are only ones who can beat Mr. Corbyn. Liz Kendall is the fourth candidate in the race to replace Ed Miliband. Everything you need to know about the four candidates hoping to become the next Labour leader. The right thing. Ms. Kendall has said she would not serve in a Jeremy Corbyn shadow cabinet, while Ms. Cooper said the prospect was unlikely unless Jeremy changes his view on some important things. In contrast, Mr. Burnham and Mr. Corbyn have both said they could happily work with one another, although the former has not said he would definitely offer Mr. Corbyn a shadow cabinet post. Asked during his visit to B Systems whether he would serve in a Corbyn cabinet, Mr. Burnham did not rule it out. "I have said I'll serve the Labour Party. I don't know if he wants me to, but I will always serve Labour in whatever capacity," he said. "I always will do because I am Labour through and through." A number of senior Labour figures, including Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, Lord Kinnock and David Miliband have warned, directly or indirectly, about the dangers of electing Mr. Corbyn leader. A spokesman for Ms. Cooper said on Monday Mr. Burnham should step back and leave it to Yvette if he could not provide an alternative to Mr. Corbyn, and also do the right thing by the party and tell people who do still support him to put second preferences for Yvette, something he is still refusing to do. Asked about that criticism on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, Mr. Burnham said, "Throughout this, I've tried to keep this campaign positive and only yesterday morning, Monday, I was praising all the other candidates in my speech. So I find this call disappointing, but actually quite strange, given that all the other leadership camps all agree, and they've gone on the record to say this, that I'm in second place." Ms. Cooper said she had huge respect for all of the other candidates. "There have been people in Andy's campaign who have wanted the other candidates to stand down," she told the BBC. "Look, that's fine. But I think this has really got to be about who is the radical and credible alternative to the Tories. Bad blood." Mr. Burnham said he had made it clear he disagreed with Mr. Corbyn on Europe, the economy and public services. But he refused to tell his supporters how to use their second preference votes and said lectures from people at the top of the party don't go down particularly well. Tony Blair has said Labour risks annihilation if it elects Mr. Corbyn, but Mr. Burnham said warnings like that were overstating the threat the veteran MP posed. He added, "If we let this bad blood, the negativity take over, this party will be harder to unite coming out of this contest, and that is what I am focused on." A source on Mr. Burnham's campaign team told the BBC Ms. Cooper's call for him to quit was very desperate stuff, adding, "This stunt tonight is straight of the Ed Ball's handbook." Former Labour leader Lord Kinnock, who is backing Mr. Burnham, said the resurgence of the left was understandable given the poverty and insecurity in our country, but he warned against making the introverted, self-indulgent choice. Meanwhile, Mr. Corbyn set out his vision of a renationalist rail network at London's King's Cross station on Tuesday, saying a return to public ownership would bring an end to rip-off fares. He also said Labour grandees criticising him were underestimating the huge levels of public support for his campaign.